Welcome back to Speak English Like a Pro. I'm genuinely excited that you're here because we're about to kick off something that could completely change the way you speak English. This isn't about memorizing grammar rules or reciting vocabulary words that no one uses in real life. This is about real English, the kind people actually speak when they're hanging out with friends, dealing with everyday situations, or just being themselves, you know, that natural, flowing kind of English that doesn't sound stiff or scripted. That's what we're going to practice together. Now, I want you to imagine that we're just two people sitting in a coffee shop chatting. No pressure, no big grammar explanations, no scary rules, just a normal, relaxed conversation. Because honestly, that's how real English is learned. Not in a classroom with your head buried in a textbook, but through connection, emotion, and repetition that feels like real life. And that's what this course is going to give you. So let's warm up. Let's say you meet someone new. You're not going to say, "Hello, how do you do?" That's outdated. In real life, you'll hear things like, "Hey, what's up?" or "How's it going?" And you don't respond with, "I am fine. Thank you." That's too formal and robotic. A real answer might be, "I'm good, just a bit tired," or "Not bad, just getting through the day." That's the kind of language we'll be practicing, the kind that feels human. Now, let's talk about how people really greet each other when they haven't seen each other in a while. You might hear, "Long time no see," or "Where have you been hiding?" And it's not unusual for someone to say, "You just disappeared." These phrases carry feeling, they show connection, and that's what you want, not just to speak English, but to connect in English, to sound like you belong in the conversation. I remember once I was trying to practice English with a native speaker. I used all the correct grammar and even remembered a bunch of advanced words, but he just smiled and said, "You sound like a news anchor." That hit me. I realized I wasn't speaking the English people actually use. I was speaking correct English, but not real English. That's when I started listening more, copying phrases I heard in real conversations, and practicing them over and over until they came out naturally. That's the journey we're about to take together. So, let's dive into some everyday interactions. Imagine you're in a store. The cashier might say, "You find everything okay?" And you can say, "Yeah, I'm all good, thanks." Or maybe, "Actually, do you know where the batteries are?" You see how relaxed that is? No full sentence like, "Excuse me, I would like to know the location of the batteries." That's too much. Real English is shorter, more casual, and often kind of messy. But that's what makes it feel alive. Another example, when people are running late, you won't hear, "I apologize for my delay." Nope. You'll hear, "Sorry, I got stuck in traffic." Or, "Ugh, the bus took forever." Or even just, "My bad, totally lost track of time." These expressions carry more weight than perfect grammar. They show emotion. They sound real. That's what you want. And when you're reacting to something surprising, you don't say, "That is quite unexpected." You'll hear, "No way," or "You're kidding," or "Shut up." And I don't mean that in a rude way. In real English, shut up can mean I can't believe that. Yet it's all about tone and context. The more you expose yourself to this kind of English, the kind that shows up in Netflix shows and casual YouTube vlogs on TikTok and especially in real conversations. Um, the more comfortable you'll get. And don't worry about sounding perfect. People don't talk in perfect sentences. They start, stop, repeat, throw in a or a like or I mean, that's all part of it. Let me share a small moment that stuck with me. I was sitting in a park just listening to people around me. One guy was on the phone and said, I'm just chilling right now, might grab a bite later. And I remember thinking, that's what I want my English to sound like: easy, natural, effortless. So I started practicing things like grab a bite, hang out, head out, come over, chill out, crash at someone's place. All these little phrases helped me feel more fluent, not just in vocabulary, but in confidence. And that's what this journey is about: real confidence, not just knowing English, but owning it. The funny thing about real English is that it doesn't wait for permission, it just happens. Someone says something, and you respond, not with something rehearsed, but with whatever feels natural in the moment. That's why native speakers sometimes interrupt themselves mid sentence or throw in random phrases like, well, to be honest, or, oh, I mean, it's whatever, or don't even get me started. These are the little pieces that give a sentence personality. Let's say you're at a cafe and your friend walks in looking tired. You don't say, hello, you appear to be exhausted. You go, dude, you look wrecked. What happened? Or maybe, rough night. That's real. That's how people connect. It's casual, it's human. That's the English you want to start using. The kind that sounds like you're not just speaking a language, but living in it. Now, if someone tells you something annoying, what do you say? Maybe they say their boss made them work late again. You might say, man, that sucks, or that's brutal, or ugh, I hate when that happens. You're not analyzing the grammar in that moment. You're responding with empathy, like a real person. That's where fluency lives, in connection, not correction. And real English isn't always clean or clear. People trail off. They mix words, they repeat themselves. They start a sentence and then jump into a totally different thought halfway through. Like, I was going to go out, but then, I mean, I just stayed in, too tired. That kind of sentence might not make sense in a textbook, but in real life, it's perfectly normal. When you're comfortable with this kind of English, you stop translating in your head. You stop thinking, okay, how do I say this correctly? And you just say it. You speak like a human. And the best part is, people understand you better. Not just because your grammar is fine, but because you're speaking their language, their way. Let's talk about phone conversations for a second. Think about how people start and end them. You don't say, hello, this is Rohit speaking. May I inquire as to your identity? That's way too formal. Instead, you pick up and say, hey, what's up? Or yo, what's going on? Or even just, hey, you free to talk? And when you're done, you don't say, I will now terminate this call. You say, all right, I'll catch you later. Or talk soon. Or all right, peace. Even short, throwaway phrases are powerful. Things like, no worries, my bad, I got you, fair enough, for real. They're tiny, but they make your English sound so much more alive. And once you hear them a few times and use them in your own speech, they become second nature. That's the goal here, for real English to become second nature. Let's go deeper. When you're with friends, conversations aren't formal, they're chaotic in a good way. One person's telling a story, someone else is laughing halfway through, and someone's reacting with, no way, or shut up, are you serious, or get out of here. These are real expressions. They're emotional, not logical. And you can't learn them just by memorizing rules. I remember hanging out with a group of native speakers for the first time. I was nervous, trying to follow everything, trying not to mess up. But I quickly noticed that they weren't using big words. They weren't talking fast on purpose. They were just relaxed. And the more relaxed they got, the more expressions they used. Like someone spilled their drink and went, ah, crap. That's the second time today. And another person said, man, you're on a roll. I laughed and thought, this is the English I want to learn. This is the English I need to practice. So let's practice it. I'll speak to you like a friend, not like a teacher, not like a coach. Just like someone who's sitting next to you, helping you get better every day. Imagine I say something like, hey, do you want to grab some food later? That's how invitations happen in real English, short, casual, and full of rhythm. Your response could be, yeah, I'm down, or sure, I could eat, or even depends. What are you feeling? All those responses are real. All of them feel natural. And when people talk about what they want to do, they don't say, I would like to engage in a viewing of a motion picture. They say, want to watch a movie? Or I'm thinking of hitting the theater tonight. Or even just, let's catch something. It's so simple. But that's what makes it beautiful. Real English isn't fancy, it's flexible, it's free. Now let's touch on how people react to good news. Imagine your friend says, I finally got the job. What do you say? Probably not a congratulations on your professional success. You say, no way. That's awesome. Or dude, that's huge. Or you killed it, man. The energy in your response matters more than the vocabulary. That's real English. It's not always about what you say, it's how you say it. And when things don't go well, you don't say, I am extremely disappointed. You might say, ugh, that sucks. Or that's rough. Or even, man, can't catch a break. That last one, can't catch a break, means everything's going wrong, and it's the kind of phrase that shows up all the time in casual talk. Those are the phrases I'll keep giving you, the ones that don't show up in textbooks but are alive on the streets, in shows, in real life.